Next up, we have Maronan Metals, ASX code MMA. So the company is advancing one of Australia's largest undeveloped silver projects in Northwest Queensland's prolific Cloncurry region. Joining me today is Dean Fredericksen, Project Director. Dean, thanks for joining me.
I think there's a bit much talking going on here. Come on, guys. So we put some notebooks on your table. So you're supposed to take notes and there'll be a test afterwards. So, Maronan Metals, MMA. I'm going to tell you who we are, what Maronan Metals is, so the Maronan project, when will we do things, and why you should consider having us in the portfolio. So we listed in 2022 and raised $15 million and spun out the Maronan project from Red Metal. So at that time we had an enterprise value of 15 million and we had 15 million in the bank. So we've got a very experienced board. Our MD, Richard Carlton, who would normally be here, has been a mine operator in Australia, New Zealand for the last 50 plus years, unfortunately. Andrew Barker, our exploration manager, sitting over there in the corner. Andrew lives in Cloncurry. So we want to be known as humble, honest and focused on delivering the Maronan project as a mining operation as cost effectively as we can. So there'll be no smoke and mirrors, no up over the top expectations. We're just here to do a good quality job. Today we have 250 million shares on offer with a market cap of approximately $120 million. Red Metal remain our largest shareholder at 36%. And we also have Josh Pitt from Perth Capital as a major shareholder, who most of you will know. And also Mount Gibson are on our board, on our register as well. So we raised $17 million in October and we're well funded to advance the project. So what is Maronan based on? It's a silver-lead copper-gold deposit. It's 60 kilometres south of Cloncurry in far north Queensland and approximately 120 kilometres east of Mount Isa, and a little bit further north from the giant Cannington Silver-Lead project operated by South 32. So we're in a really good active mining area. It's a great jurisdiction to be working in, and for me it's the silver and base metal hub of Australia. We're on the northern edge of a 115,000 acre cattle station operated by the Muller family. They're great people. And economic mineralisation starts about 100 metres below surface. The Muller family have operated this farm for the last 5 generations. They're incredibly supportive and they're really important to us as developers of this project. So you say, well, what is Maronan? Well, it's huge. So in ground, 120 million ounces of silver, 2 million ounces of lead, 275,000 tonnes of copper, and over 700,000 ounces of gold. So it's not a shy project. So if you want to put that into some gold equivalents, I'm not really an equivalence fan, but it's roughly 4.5 to 5 million ounces of gold. So it's a very large deposit. So from here to the Yacht Club Long, a K, and we know about it to 1,200 metres below surface. So that's 4 Eiffel Towers. Or if you go downtown and you have a look at the buildings there, it's 5 times the Rio building. So it's a big deposit, right? There's approximately 30 million tonnes of silver-lead resource and a further 30 million tonnes of copper-gold resource. Fantastic grades. The lead grades are 108 grams per tonne. The silver grades, 108 grams per tonne silver and 6% lead. And I'll tell you a little bit further along, that's actually worth quite a lot of money. There's no royalties and no encumbrances on the project, so it's 100% Maronan Metals. The copper-gold deposit is substantial in its own right, and it's very similar to the Ernest Henry deposit that Evolution are mining 60 k's up the road, and has some similarities with what AIC mines are operating at Eloise, 15 kilometres across the road. So we're in the right district, right? The silver-lead ore and the copper-gold ore can be mined separately using the same infrastructure. So we put one decline down, one set of vent shafts, one process plant, and we can mine both those types of ores. So if you think about it, 60 million tonnes, we're not going to do that in 1 year. So this is a very long life project that's going to be producing metal for a very long time. We have a base set up in Cloncurry that Andrew looks after. We've got a core shed, some offices. We've got a very small corporate office in Sydney. We have a small number of very focused personnel, and we're pacing our growth to meet the needs of the project. So what about the when? So since 2022, we've drilled a bunch of holes and we've upgraded a significant portion, about 12 million tonnes of that resource, to some indicated categories so that we could release a scoping study. So this is only a small portion of the global mineral resource, remember, so it's not all of it, just a little bit. We've advanced some permitting in the last 3.5 years, so we're close to being granted a mineral development licence. So under Queensland terminology, that'll enable us to put an exploration decline into the ground. So the MDL is a really important part of our project because so it'll be a box cut. So about a 40 metre deep box cut, a decline. The decline will go to 200 metres below surface. It'll enable us to put some drill rigs underground and then advance really rapidly our drilling out of the deposit. It'll also help us validate the geology and geotechnical conditions. So how many deposits do you know that have started recently where they've got underground and went, holy shit, this doesn't look like anything that I thought we would see? So that's number one. We really got to get down there and be able to validate what we're doing. And that work program will underpin our definitive feasibility study and our final investment decision. That'll be 18 months to 2 years worth of work. In parallel, we will commence our mining licence applications. So we've got some optionality with this project. So in the Cloncurry district at the moment, there are 3 or 4 operating plants that are not full of ore. One of them is treating exactly the same silver-lead ore as us. The other one is treating very similar copper-gold ore. So there are plants now that are working that are not full of ore. So we've got some optionality there. But you know what? This is going to be a 30-plus year mine life. So at some stage it's going to have its own process plant. So we'll chase that down the road as we go as well. So why should you have Maronan in your portfolio? So there are 3 important metrics that I'll discuss here with you today. So enterprise value. Our enterprise value is around 100 million bucks. We've got 120 million ounces of silver, just taking the silver into account, not all the other metals, just the silver. So you can buy us for $1 an ounce of silver. That's pretty good value. You can't go down to the ABC and buy it for that. You can't go to the Perth Mint and buy it for that, but you could buy Maronan for about $1 an ounce. Our peers range from 75 cents to $8. The medium of those peers is $4.80, so I think that's pretty good value, don't you? Write that down. Our PEA, or our scoping study, was released to the market in September 2025. It considers 22% of the global mineral resource. 22%, 1/5. This very modest 9-year PEA, I like the term preliminary economic assessment rather than a scoping study because it is about economics, was based on a 1.2 million tonne per annum underground mining operation and building our own process plant, a modest $270 million worth of capital. This project has an NPV at 8%. You see a whole lot of people quoting them at 5%, but at 8%, $344 million. And a payback of less than 4 years from the day we start spending the capital, not the day we start making metal. So about a 2-year payback from the day we start making metal. And that was done at $36 an ounce silver. For every $1 over $36 an ounce, the NPV increases by 20 million. So we're running today at $76 an ounce silver. So you could imply that the NPV of 8% for this little tiny project is north of $1 billion. And that's 22% of the global resource. So you can do your own maths and own thinking about that. The third metric I'd like to indulge you with, or you indulge me with, is net smelter return. So how much is this ore really worth? So if we got a reserve, we quoted about 110 grams per tonne in the PEA and about 5% lead. So let's write these things down, that's why the notepads are there. So 110 grams per tonne silver times $3.50 a gram is $385 in situ. We recover 93% of the silver. The smelter pay us for 95% of it. The government take 5% off, because that's what they do in Queensland. We'll end up getting paid for 84% of that metal. That's $320 a tonne. Now look at the lead. 5% lead. Lead's currently about 3,000 Aussie dollars a tonne. 5% of 3,000 is $130. Same deal, we recover a bit more of the lead. Smelter will still only pay us 95%, and the government still want 5% of that. So 86% of that. So we've got $130 a tonne in ground that we will get paid for the lead. Total that up, we're talking $450 a tonne. So what does that really mean? So for underground mines similar to this will be a pretty fancy underground mine, good geotechnical conditions, good metallurgy, all the right things that go with it. Should cost us about $150 a tonne to mine it, put it on the surface, send it on a boat offshore to get smelted. So we've got a margin of $300 a tonne for this rock. So you can do your own maths. If we mined it 1 million tonnes or we mined it a couple of million tonnes, it's got a pretty healthy margin and it'll pay back its capital really quickly. That's why the notepads were there, of course. So, to reiterate the why should you buy us? Why should you look at Maronan Metals and consider having it into your portfolio? We have the right people. I've certainly got plenty of battle scars from trying to mine projects all over the world. Richard's got the same. We've got Matthew Hine on our board, who's a very experienced mining professional. Andrew's seen plenty of rocks. We're cost effective. We're not going to blow our shareholders' money unnecessarily on frivolous things. We have a great project. It's got really solid economics. There's certainly nothing wrong with the project from its economic perspective. We're in a really good jurisdiction. The Queensland government are working hard to make operations go, not to try to hold them up. We've done a really slick job on getting this MDL done and had great help from the Queensland government. Cloncurry is a great town to work in. Like they're familiar with mining operations, it's very much like a miniature Kalgoorlie. There's 7 operations within 100 kilometres of us that are really going hard. So it's a good jurisdiction. We've got a great family to work with on Maronan Station. I hope I've demonstrated to you the economic potential of the project. It's really strongly leveraged to silver. It's got a great supporting from the copper and gold. Like, I haven't even talked about the value of the copper and gold, but it's really important as well. So please look up MMA, and look us up. And if you want to talk some more about how this project might, or this company might fit in your portfolio, then please come and seek us out. Thank you very much. Thanks, Abby.